could cough. If you're choking on something, there will most likely be a cough. If there are germs or excess secretions in the airway, you will cough. So basically, cough is the body saying there's something here that should not be here, and I'm trying to get rid of it. Okay? Now, catarrh, on the other hand, is basically excessive secretions flowing out from the nostrils. And usually when there is catarrh, there are a number of things that could be responsible. Both cough and catarrh could be in response to germs, it could be in response to foreign objects. And then for those who have allergies, it's basically just the body overreacting to small stimuli. So the average person is exposed to dust and maybe just gives a little sneeze, or something gets in the throat, a little cough. Someone who has background allergies will most likely overreact to that. Okay? So as I often describe, just like what will happen in an asthmatic, I will often describe it as having a gated estate with security men who you have put at the gate with their, guns to keep out real threats from the estate. However, you have a 5-year-old boy with stones approaching the estate gates, and then your security men run to shut the gates, and then they pull out their AK-47s. And you begin to wonder exactly what is going on here. What is the problem? What is the security threat? A 5-year-old with stones that you can call the child to order. That's what happens in people with allergies. They basically overreact to things, little stimuli. So in some children, when they develop this cough, catarrh, some of them have background allergies. Some don't. It's just an infective thing. For some, it's just an upper respiratory tract infection. And when we talk about the upper respiratory tract, we're just saying, in simple layman terms, I'll just say from the throat up, and then the lower respiratory tract, goes down into the lungs, and that's when there's an infection in the lungs, you say there's a pneumonia. Okay, so that's gives you an overview of what those are here.
Brilliant. You know that there's this thing we tend to do. We take certain things with levity. Talk about cough, talk about catarrh. We feel this is something we experience every other day, and we expect it to go on its own. So now, for parents, particularly listening, what are those early warning signs that we should pay attention to? I say we because I see myself as a parent too. But what do you think we should, of course, take into consideration? All right, before a mild or just as we say it is not just a cough or catarrh becomes a more serious health concern.
So if a child, now generally any symptom in children should not be taken with levity. Okay?
Yeah.
Cough, catarrh, fever, they shouldn't be taken with levity. Now, the challenge here that I see lies with the fact that many people are not eager to go to the hospitals for care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be something.
Dr. Bakar, are you with us? Okay.
Hello, are you with me?
Yes, we're with you.
Sorry, I had a bit of an interruption.
That's fine.
Yes, so I said you can have a situation where I was talking about tiers of healthcare.
Okay. We're losing
primary and then the tertiary. Hello.
Yeah,
it's network glitch. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. I think we'll have you better now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so there are different levels of healthcare. So if ideally things are working, insurance systems are working, people can easily be able to access a primary healthcare center. The reason I'm saying this is that, yes, a simple cough and catarrh, you being able to tell, is this something reactive, like an allergy? Is this something that is infective? Now, if it is, and go on their own in a few days, you may only just need symptomatic treatment. Okay. However, if it's bacterial and it's not correctly managed, it can eventually track down to the lower respiratory tract. So it will be a bit difficult for parents to by themselves be able to determine if this is a cough and catarrh that requires antibiotic treatment or not. Okay? However, for viral infections, it's not always the rule, but oftentimes there will just be a low-grade fever, not a very high fever. So the child could just be having cough, catarrh, but it's not running temperature. Okay? But it's not a hard and fast rule. So any cough, any catarrh, what I would say is this. You can, now, we are very weary when it comes to the use of cough syrups. Okay? Because a lot of cough syrups contain certain medications that could have, deleterious side effects in children. So cough syrups are not really a thing that pediatricians prescribe a lot. Okay? So just going to grab a cough syrup may not be the next thing to do. Yes, in some situations, depending on the child's age, simple antihistamines like loratadine, cetirizine could be helpful. Paracetamol, steam inhalation at home could be helpful. But if your child starts coughing and the nose is running, especially if your catarrh is...
All right, we're losing you yet again, Dr. Bakare. Okay, so we might have a little... Okay, Dr. Bakare, I think we have you connected now.
Yes, I'm back now.
No,
I'm back now. Apologies.
That's fine. That's
fine. So
and losing you again. Are you with us now, Doctor? Dr. Bakare, can you hear me? Okay, we might have a little glitch with the network. I'm hoping that we're able to sort that out so we do not have...
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good to have you back, Doctor. Good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm back. Yes, so it's... what was I saying now? I've lost my train of thought because of this interruptions. So I was saying that it's important that once the cough, the catarrh is persisting for 2-3 days, at the max, present to the nearest hospital for the child to be assessed. A blood test may need to be run, and a doctor basically knows to assess. And, we have, based on our experience, we can tell this is likely viral, this could be bacterial, but ultimately we can run tests, we can do physical examinations that guide us in making a decision. Not every cough and catarrh requires antibiotic treatment.
Certainly, that is true.
Okay? That is not a job for a health professional to do. It's not the job of the parents, because the parents are quick to run to nearby pharmacies because our system is faulty. There are medications that are not over-the-counter drugs. Antibiotics, antimalarials, and several other medications are not supposed to be over-the-counter drugs. If you go to the developed world, there are drugs you will never be able to get from a drugstore without a doctor's prescription.
Okay.
But we are in a part of the world where the system is turned upside down. Anybody who walks into a nearby drugstore tells the person who is there, whether the person is a pharmacist or not, this and this is what is wrong with me or my child, and then they sell them antibiotics. They sell antimalarials and other medications to them, and these things are creating serious problems for us. Our drugs are becoming useless because of resistance, antibiotic resistance, antimalarial resistance. So people need to be responsible. But I think if the insurance systems are working, it will be easier for people to access care. If we don't have the terrible brain drain where you don't have enough health workers manning the hospital facilities, then people will be encouraged to go to the hospitals to have a healthcare professional assess their child and make the correct diagnosis and treat appropriately.
With everything you've stated, you're basically implying that the way parents tend to rush to buy over the counter, especially cough syrup when there's a cough or catarrh, or we settle for antibiotics, you feel that this should not be a custom. Now that we have this as the social, it's currently a social construct, right, where we have everyone, just as you stated, going straight up to the pharmacy to get drugs because they feel that, okay, this is most likely what will be able to deal with that particular ailment that their child or themselves might be dealing with. So who do you think we have to blame here, and what do you think is the way forward? Because as much as you're kicking against this because you'd require a doctor's prescription before you're able to, or before you should get any antibiotics whatsoever, but already we know that most parents will still rather run to the pharmacy. What do you think is the way forward? How can this be tackled? And do you think there's someone you would actually want to portion the blame for this current reality?
Yeah, the problem is multifactorial. Everybody is to blame. Let's put the blame where it is. The government is to blame in not having a proper framework to regulate the healthcare sector. Okay? There are things that need to be put in place to enforce proper practices. Okay? That's the government. The healthcare workers themselves. Okay? Now, for the doctors, there are, doctors who, are quick to, how do I say it now? Somehow, indirectly encourage these things. People just reach out to you, over the phone, over a message, and you just like, oh, it worked one time, maybe it's going to, work again. Let me try again, And then when it comes to those who run pharmacies and drugstores, as long as as long as finance, profit is the drive, it's a problem. We need a system where the pharmacists who are set up a drugstore insists and says, well, I know I need to make money, but I'm sorry, it is not right for me to prescribe anything. Your child is coughing, okay, has a fever, take paracetamol, please take the child to the hospital so they know why the child is having a fever. Oh, okay, use this antihistamine, please, if this persists, go to the hospital so that they can tell, do you understand? There are things that can be done, but when these drugstores are set up to just sell medication, so anybody comes and then somebody sits down and then begins to make diagnoses and then begins to treat. Of course, sometimes they will say, after this number of days, go to your doctor. But that doesn't change the fact that drugs that are supposed to be over-the-counter medications are being sold and dispensed by people who are not licensed to do so. So it's a general problem. And as long as the health system does not work, there will be issues. Because everybody is looking at their own individual interests. Of course, again, I talked about the brain drain earlier. We're losing doctors in droves. We're losing nurses in droves. And that means that the wait time in hospitals will be a lot longer. Our insurance systems still need a lot of revamping. Kudos to Lagos State government for the Lɪධᴇ program. The federal government is trying to revamp the national health insurance scheme to make it available to all Nigerians, not just those who are in the employ of the federal government. But the truth is that these things, there is still a long way to go in terms of coverage, in terms of how effective these things are. What do they cover actually? Even if everybody has this insurance, there is some irresponsible person that used antibiotics when he didn't need it, or did not complete the dose, or did not use it properly, that has created this super bug that is resistant to the regular drugs. So that's how this thing works. It's just like even in vaccination, for example. There's this vaccine-derived polio vaccine. The most recent vaccination campaign was, about. The issue is that you have vaccinated children, okay, and then you have unvaccinated children for whatever reason. Now, protected. But then you now have, because everybody is not vaccinated, the little polio viruses that are hanging around, okay, that are now, they have, how do I say it? They are like the killed vaccines or the ones that were tapered down as vaccines. Now, an unvaccinated child picks up on it because of poor hygiene and then now develops the polio. So at the end of the day, the responsibility of a group of people eventually affects everybody. So we all have to take responsibility. The government, healthcare workers, the people, we all need to take responsibility.
Very well said, Dr. Bakare. Thank you so much for that insightful take as to the conversation we're having. And perhaps, Lagos, you just tuned in and you're wondering what we're talking about. We're looking into the conversation around cough and catarrh, especially as schools, begin resumption. Like I stated, as schools resume, it's almost like clockwork. If you as a parent, you might notice your child or your children coughing, sneezing, battling blocked nose, one way or the other. And before you know what's happening, you see that it's spreading rapidly among school children due to the close contact, the shared things, shared items, and all of this. So we're looking into how we can ensure that we manage this so that these infections don't disrupt their learning, don't disrupt their overall well-being. That's why we're taking a closer look, at the link between school resumption and increased respiratory infections, particularly cough and catarrh. And we're also trying to see how this can be properly managed, how we as a parent, you as a parent can manage this, teachers as well listening can manage this, caregivers as well. And we have the pleasure of hosting a pediatrician with us this morning and a medical doctor. That's in person of Dr. Bakari Deji. At the moment, we'll go for a breather, and once we return, we'll continue with the rest of the conversation. Stick around and stay with us.
To Lɪķī Ikeja, to the Bay. Coconut is here, bridging the gap between you and the government. Straight from the top, no stories bent. Real talk, true gist, and updates that matter. The people speak, the leaders here. On Coconut, we keep it clear. Every Thursday, 11 a.m., tune in live and join the conversation. Coconut, the bridge between you and the government. Only on Wash 94.9 FM. Don't miss it. Every time you turn the key and hit the road, you are not just starting a trip, you are making a choice to be alert, responsible, and safe. That's where the Federal Road Safety Course steps in. FRSC is not just to enforce laws, but to save lives and guide us toward a safer tomorrow. From licensing and traffic control to public education and emergency response, every Thursday at 2 p.m. on Wash 94.9 FM. With Road and Safety, we touch on road debates, real stories, and real lessons. We uncover road rules you thought you knew. This isn't just a show, it's a movement, a call to awareness, a reminder that your safety is not just your right, it's your responsibility. Tune in, get informed, be empowered.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is finally here. From Monday to Saturday at 7 p.m. Plenty Nigerians will stand a chance to win big. To join, just dial *900# on your MTN line. Then every recharge from 100 naira or more will get you more entries and increase your chances to win.
Recharge today and win millions. T's and C's apply. Visit www.mtn.ng for more details.
Wash 94.9.
Alright. Well, with Smart Kids Art. If you love spelling big words just for fun, raise your hand. Yeah, we see you. So, of course, we have something for you. The MTN Impulse Spelling Bee is back, and it's open to all primary and secondary school students. And guess what? This could be a shot at winning over 40 million naira worth of prizes. Think laptops, smartphones, even scholarship grants. Your school could get some gifts because of you as well. And you might even get a chance to be MTN's CEO for a whole day. Only if you win though. But it's you. We know you'll win. So, if you're between 9 and 15 years old, now is the time to sign up. Tell your friends. Tell mom. Tell dad. Tell your uncles and aunts that it's time for all your big English to pay off. Head over to impulse.mtn.ng right now to participate. MTN, what are we doing today?
Hello, Male. How you doing now? Male, wait. Should I call you back? You sure say your credit go reach this guy too?
Don't worry yourself. Now MTN better gist I dey use.
Who no like better thing? Just go buy new MTN SIM so MTN go dash you 2,100 naira airtime sharply, and on top that one, every call wey you make, whether na 3 minutes for this call or na 1 minute on top another call, e go dey join dey go. And once you gather reach 6 minutes, MTN go sama you 3 minutes extra. Make you for continue that better gist. Or ya dial *123*2*1# to join MTN better gist today. Terms and conditions dey sha o.
WASH Wash 94.9.
Hello, Male. How you doing now? Male, wait. Should I call you back? You sure say your credit go reach this guy too?
Don't worry yourself. na MTN better gist I dey use.
Who no like better thing? Just go buy new MTN SIM so MTN go dash you 2,100 naira airtime sharply, and on top that one, every call wey you make, whether na 3 minutes for this call or na 1 minute on top another call, e go dey join dey go. And once you gather reach 6 minutes, MTN go sama you 3 minutes extra. Make you for continue that better gist. Oya dial *123*2*1# to join MTN better gist today. Terms and conditions dey sha o. Oh, what did happen now? No bonus for all my line. No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123*2*1# or text BG to 312. T and C's apply.
I'm so happy.
Oh, you mean you're rhapsodic? RHAPSODIC.
There you go again. Always using big words. Well, you're Sesquipedalian. SESQUIP.
Sesqui? Are you casting spells?
We are just getting ready for MTN's MPOS spelling bee. A child could become MTN CEO for a whole day and win from a prize pool of over 40 million naira, ranging from laptops to smartphones, educational grants, MTN MPOS goodie bags, and more. Register now at mpos.mtn.ng. Terms and conditions apply. MTN, what are we doing today?
Always the best Fun Health Radio.
The wait is over, guys. The mic visual that took us by storm all through last week has finally been revealed, and some of us guessed it right. It's MTN. Wow! Who would have thought? They gave us Project Fame way back then, and now they're back again with the next alphabet star, once again teaming up with Ultima Studios. I heard this is going to be a reality TV show, and it's going to be massive. If you're an aspiring star, you know what to do. Dustin does vocal cords and sing notes you've been recording on your phones, because it's time to make a difference with your sound. The next alphabet star is here to take your sound global by creating and shaping the next global alphabet icon out of Ninja, and you could be the next. Simply text NAS to 13013 from your registered MTN line to register, and you'll receive a text message. Follow the prompts, record and upload your sound, and you will get a call from the next alphabet star live auditions. It's inspiring to see how MTN introduces different opportunities for youths to make progress, and this is brought to us by MTN Pulse.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
The magic number. Tune in to Wash FM 94.9 every Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 5 for your favorite show, Magic Number. Watch out for a repeated number on any of our shows and stand a chance to win an exciting prize. Yes! Magic Number. Exciting prizes buried in fun and health.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is finally here. From Monday to Saturday at 7 p.m. Plenty Nigerians will stand a chance to win big. To join, just dial *900# on your MTN line. Then every recharge from 100 naira or more will get you more entries and increase your chances to win.
Recharge today and win millions. T's and C's apply. Visit www.mtn.ng for more details.
My name is Dr. Oluwadamilare Abraham, PT. Keep listening to Wash 94.9 FM. Stay glued.
All right, Lagos, Nigeria, welcome back. 16 minutes after 10. Still talk to a doctor here on your health radio station, Wash 94.9 FM. The program is Talk to a Doctor, and not to forget this morning on the broadcast, we're looking into cough and catarrh. Infections in children following the school resumption. So for parents, if you think you might have started seeing symptoms, or you've seen symptoms of such in your child or your children, you have questions, let us get talking. What are your questions this morning? The number you can connect with us on today is 0704 100 7949. 0704 100 7949. That's strictly the number you can connect with us on today. Recall, you can also reach out via the WhatsApp line 0915 849 4949, 0915-849-4949. And coming to you, Dr. Bakare, now one would say that, okay, well, since the children have been at home even whilst during the long holiday and they didn't necessarily come up with that, so then if a parent is seeing such symptoms, especially after the child just resumed school, one would say perhaps, okay, he or she got it from school. So how then can schools, and parents work together just to ensure that they reduce the spread of that cough and catarrh during school time? Some might even want to ask, okay, how does a school environment contribute to the spread of these infections?
Thank you. I recall there was a time when in the school where my children go to school, in primary school, parents kept complaining and accusing the head teacher that the school was responsible for their children always taking ill after resumption. And it took, me speaking to the parents during one of the PTA meetings, to calm that. The head teacher was so grateful, after that conversation. Because I had to explain firstly to everybody that these are the issues. The children's growing immune system, the fact that these children exchange germs, and then their immune systems have to start a learning process all over again. However, the schools can ensure that the classes are not overcrowded, okay? The chairs are properly spaced, the rooms, the classrooms are well ventilated. Some schools offer air conditioning systems. Well, it's fine, nothing wrong with it, though sometimes it can perpetuate the spread depending on the etiquette. So this goes back to the other thing, the etiquettes that the children are taught. They should be taught in practical terms. I mean, not just telling them, but also showing example. So, for example, when you cough or sneeze, how do you cough or sneeze? Do you just, and this is the reason why I did a jingle some time ago. I think I shared it with you before. When you cough into your elbow. When you sneeze into your elbow. When you cough into your elbow and you sneeze into your elbow, you will not spread germs to your friends. So the idea is when you cough into your folded elbow, okay, that area is, you have less contact with that area when children are playing with each other, as against if you cough into your palm or into a handkerchief or tissue. The handkerchief or tissue is already carrying the germs. If you are keeping the handkerchief back in your pocket, you are just putting the germs back in the pocket, and once you reach out, you are soiling the hands all over again. Teachers should practice and show their children to practice. It's not just tell them. Let them see you do the same thing. Because teachers too can have a cough, they can have a catarrh, even if it's elementary. And the children should be able to see that this is the correct thing to do. I think I sang, dirty hands are full of germs. Dirty hands spread germs. So I wash my hands all the time. Before I eat, I wash my hands. After I play, I wash my hands. After I pee, I wash my hands. After I poo, I wash my hands. So teaching children to wash their hands frequently would also reduce the spread of these germs. So the school's responsibility, ensure that the classrooms are not crowded, are well ventilated. If you're using an air conditioning system, the filters are cleaned properly from time to time, okay? And then be able to identify any child that is ill and take proper care of them immediately. Have a sick day that addresses that. Ensure the children have proper cough etiquette. Parents, teach your children from home. And then if a parent has a child that has a respiratory tract infection, ensure you have that child commence treatment as soon as possible. Some schools would insist that a child with a cough or catarrh or skin eruptions not come to school. Of course, the challenge here is that it's very difficult many times for parents to adhere because the parents have to go to work and all that. So sometimes parents make it pretty difficult for the schools. So there needs to be a safe, dividing line. Those parents should take the responsibility to ensure that their children are getting appropriate treatment. Okay? If the child is getting appropriate treatment and practices proper etiquettes, then it may be possible to reduce the spread, even if there is absolutely no way to keep the child at home. So we need to find a safe balance. The ideal thing is the child that is ill should be at home. Okay? But since we can't always have the ideal, let's ensure that the kind of child can also use a face mask, okay, while in school, and only take off the face mask, and have more than one, so that if he sneezes or coughs into it and becomes soil, the child can change the face mask, wash their hands, put on another face mask. So these are little things that parents and schools can join hands together to ensure are done to reduce the spread of these infections, whether they are viral or bacterial, as the case may be. Thank you.
Okay, I want to take a message quickly from Elizabeth. Elizabeth from Agada says, my son comes back from school with a blocked nose, and then the whole house catches it. So, is catarrh contagious, Dr. Bakare?
Oh, very, very, very much so. Depending on what the cause is, whether it's viral, whether it's bacterial, you're sniffling, you're touching the nose, and then you're spreading those germs. Anyone who is now susceptible to those germs will come down with a similar infection, okay? Which is the reason why in the home also, practicing those etiquettes are very important. Because if a child comes from school now and has developed catarrh and cough, and you already have a culture in your home to ensure that they cough into their elbow, sneeze into their elbow, wash their hands often, that child already does the right things to minimize spread. And everybody also does the right things to minimize their contacts. So a lot of times the issue is that we're not taking the right precautions. It is almost impossible not to have one person in the home take ill at a point. It can happen at some point in time. The fact that one person has taken ill doesn't mean that the whole home should now follow suit. If that person who has taken ill has been properly taken care of and there are proper practices to minimize the spread of germs, then it should not spread.
Okay, let's take another message quickly. This is Kunle from Oshodi. Kunle from Oshodi is asking, does using air conditioning or fans at night make cough and catarrh worse?
Okay, valid question. Now, using air conditioning and fans are harmless, provided, number one, if you have the AC, the air conditioning is not directed, okay? Or maybe the first thing I should say is that for a child that has background allergies, fans, air conditioning could be a problem. However, the caveat is this: the AC is not facing directly, it's not blowing directly in the child's face or chest, okay? If it's a fan, if it's a ceiling fan, ensure the ceiling fan is clean, okay? Because over time, our ceiling fans gather dust, and sometimes a bit of cobwebs and things like that. If you don't clean it, when the fan is spinning, it's basically spreading that dust in the room, okay? Then for standing fans, it's a bit difficult with standing fans because standing fans are unidirectional, okay? So making it rotate could help, but standing fans they tend to direct things in one direction. So ceiling fans are preferred. But if all you can afford, or there are homes where they have POPs and you can't afford to install an air conditioning set and the only thing you have is a standing fan, well, use a standing fan, but keep it at a distance and let it rotate, so that what it does is to basically keep the room, and keep air circulating in the room. But if a child has cough and catarrh and these things are facing directly, definitely it will aggravate the symptoms. It may also perpetuate spread. But you can't now say we're turning off the AC, we're turning off the fan, and then the room is all stuffy and it's difficult to breathe. That on its own would also create its own problems. So there needs to be a safe middle ground. Thank you.
All right, now let's quickly, because of our time, look into the ways we can continue to manage even more, prevent it, especially for parents whose children might not necessarily have come up with this cough and catarrh, but okay, just like we've mentioned, we have some other kids who might have developed it, and so they're trying to prevent it. What do you suggest that they do to prevent it? And for those already having to face it, dealing with it for it's been 2 days, it's been 3 days, for some it's even been a week.
Yeah.
How do they go about treating it?
Yeah. So primary prevention will start with ensuring that our children have a healthy diet. Our children are well fed, and live in a healthy environment. That's the very first thing. However, despite doing that very well, recall we said that the children's immune systems are learning, so you can't totally, no matter how viral, bacterial, or otherwise, okay, but the frequency of succumbing to such will be much less for a very healthy child. Now, if your child does succumb and develops a cough, catarrh, okay, or fever, give simple home remedies that if you can do steam inhalation safely, and I always say that very cautiously, safely, because steam is basically boiling water that is in gaseous form. So if you're not careful, you can actually burn yourself or burn the child. So steam inhalation safely can be done. Of course, there are age-long home remedies, honey, lemon. Those things may help, okay? But beyond that is paracetamol can help with a fever, with some of the discomfort, okay? Non-sedating antihistamines like loratadine or cetirizine could be helpful depending on exactly what is going on, and the age appropriateness also needs to be considered. Cough syrups, I'm very weary about cough syrups, so I won't. And then the other problem I even have with that is that some of these cough syrups contain salbutamol. Salbutamol is a medication that we reserve, mostly for the treatment of children with asthma or some kind of constriction in their airway. And sometimes this is part of the things that lead to delayed diagnosis. A child has a cough, you go grab, a cough syrup that possibly contains salbutamol over the counter. And this child actually is asthmatic, and he gets better from using the cough syrup, and it takes longer for us to find out that it's actually asthma that we are dealing with. And then because we are phasing out the use of oral salbutamol in the management of asthma, we prefer inhaled, among other things. So I'm very weary when it comes to talking about cough syrup. So home remedies, but see, a child is coughing, having catarrh, especially if there is a fever, take the child to the hospital. Let somebody evaluate. Let the doctor be the one to tell you, oh, this is likely just viral. No problem. Just take this and this for symptomatic relief and wait it out. Don't make that decision yourself. And don't run and go and get an antibiotic when it's probably not needed. You need a health professional. That's why I was going to mention about this. Apropos doctor did, there's this AI package, our doc, that, he set up. And I really appreciate that package because I tried it at a number of times and I realized that it's designed not to become your doctor. It will answer simple questions and then direct you that, oh, do you want me to arrange a meeting with a health professional? Because it is supposed to have its limits to tell you, oh, go and use this, go and use this. So that you know that, oh, okay, beyond symptomatic relief, go to the doctor, have the child assessed so that we can tell exactly what is wrong and treat properly. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Bakare, for that, of course, take as to how we can continue to manage and prevent these situations. And you've also spoken about the importance of good nutrition, which can perhaps one way or the other, boost a child's immunity against such infections. And I know that when we talk about feeding well, a lot of parents, or don't let me say a lot of parents, certain persons might have their reservations because of, the way the economy is. And they say, okay, what exactly do you mean by feeding well? Must you eat 3 times a day? Does it have to be balanced diet? When we're talking about feeding well, we're talking about just fruit. So for those who might be a little concerned about the nutrition aspect of things because of financial constraints, for financial reasons, what would you suggest to them?
So, we can't deny the realities of the times that we are in. But when we talk about a healthy diet is not necessarily an expensive diet. However, you can't take away the fact that a healthy diet will cost some money. The idea is to ensure that your child has, a good serving of, is not just having just carbohydrates, for example. You just give a child a plate of rice, okay, no protein in it. That will not be helpful. So a plate of rice, and ensure that there's some protein. If it's fish you can afford, fine. If you can afford meat, fine. If you can afford egg, fine. If you can afford chicken, all well and good. Ensure they have their fruits and vegetables, okay? Whichever you can afford, okay? You work within your means, but ensure that your child has a fairly balanced diet. A diet that has your carbohydrates, has your proteins, has your fats and oils, your fruits and vegetables, and so on. So you need to do the best you can within what you can afford. It's not about how many times a day. Yes, we often talk about 3 square meals. Well, not every family can afford 3 square meals or even has the time set, even when it can be afforded. You leave the house in the morning, you are not back till much later at night for one reason or the other. The child attends after school lessons and has to snack during the day. That happens. But just ensure that if it's 2 meals the child can get, let the child get 2 balanced meals within what you are able to afford. Everybody may not be able to afford Titus, but you can maybe afford ejakika. Do you understand? So you work within what you can afford, okay, and try to ensure that your child has,
Deji and Lagos, Nigeria, gradually, of course, that will be the size of the broadcast. Today we've been looking into, important conversations around cough and catarrh, especially in our children after school resumption. We've heard from our medical expert, a pediatrician, a medical doctor, about why these infections tend to spike, especially during school terms, and how you as a parent can tell the difference between a simple cold, something more serious, most importantly, what you can do to keep your child or children, healthy, and also prevent them from also falling or actually catching, this cold or these infections. And certainly, before I let you go, Dr. Bakare, I'd love to get your thoughts, your final words, rather.
Yes, so my final words will remain: we all should take hand washing, responsible use over-the-counter medications, not going to use antibiotics or anti-malarials and the case may proper doctor's prescription, going to the hospital as soon as possible to have your child assessed for proper care, and then partner with the schools to ensure that we keep our children healthy. We ensure we give them a and take as best care as we can. But if it happens, the child develops cough and catarrh, like I said, go to the hospital, do your home remedies where possible, and the hygiene etiquette will basically reduce spread. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, that is the size of the broadcasters today. And I want to say thank you, Lagos, Nigeria, for being a part of the conversation. And once again, Dr. Bakare, thank you so much for your time and always for your invaluable insights on Talk to a Doctor. Hoping to do this with you as well some other time. And of course, to you, our listeners, thank you so much. While it is, common for kids to catch a cold or two during